Welcome to the social circle where creators come together to turn ideas into impact and goals into a reality. I am Candace, and this is
Jennifer, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us for today's really good, informative episode. I love these episodes, by the way.
Me
It's
Too,
not
girl.
only
Me
a
too.
reminder for me to listen to what we talk about, but for you guys to learn from us and our experiences. I think that today is going to be a very, very good experience for you all to share. Candace, what are we talking about?
Mm. Nobody else talks about this, but making money online feels
Never.
super weird at first, right? And it's not because you don't know, it's really just because it feels
It's
like you're
different.
becoming somebody else, right? You're becoming that used car salesman. No offense to my used car salesman. I come from a long line of them, but so, if you've ever hesitated to share your offer or talk about how much money you've made online or whatever, this episode is for you. So, why does monetization feel awkward? Jennifer, should we go into once again how we felt in the beginning when
It's
all we were doing is sell, 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 sell?
totally. So from my experience, it's just the feeling of I physically worked in a job and, earned the paycheck from the hours. Whereas the online monetization is a different feeling because even though I'm
Mhm.
doing the work physically to create the content, to do the podcast, create the documents, share everything in our school community on that platform, it's a different kind of reward having the money come
Mhm.
in electronic from that system. And
Right.
it's just
And
to
it's not a
me
confirmed check every week
it's
or every
not
two weeks or
that is the
whatever.
biggest. That is the
Yeah.
biggest one is it is not promised.
Right.
And that's the scariest thing. And I think that's why so many people get started, they get excited, and then they just kind of taper out. One, because it doesn't come right away.
Right.
You're working for free essentially in the first year that
Right.
you're building up. And how long did it take for you to get YouTube on your channel monetized? A year, right?
A year, yeah. A full year for one and a full year for the other.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's taking and this is you full time doing all of that. And I think
Correct. Yeah.
that speaks to some volume too, because that's a lot of hard hours that you put in to not get a check every time you
Yeah.
done the
And
work.
I mean, I don't know about you, but like my parents had money. They when I was growing up, never we never wanted for anything, right? But we never talked about it. It wasn't something that my mom sat down with me and said, "I'm a penny pincher. I'm a penny pincher, however you say it. And this is how I balance a checkbook," right? Like it was always kind of a taboo thing to discuss. Like you're being rude about it. And then now, in the beginning, it felt like I'm doing all these things and I'm kind of bragging about myself, right? So you're running a business, you're online, you're trying to monetize in whichever way because there's hundreds of thousands of ways to make money online. But it's
Definitely.
just you're running this business and the rules that you may have learned growing up don't mesh with it, right? You have to kind of unlearn a lot of things. And that's like you always talk about going from an employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset. And monetization is involved in that because again, you have to realize that you're not always going to get a steady paycheck, right? You're going to do a lot of work up front and not have a lot of reward. And like you said, that's when a lot of people quit. I mean, we've
Yep.
seen them in 4 years. A
Yeah,
lot
and
of people give up because they're not making money.
yep, they think that it's that it's the what is instant gratification of
Right.
putting in the time, you deserve the check. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. Now, I think where a lot of there's not a lot of clarity around how that income comes in. I know we've had Shannon McKinstry on here as a guest speaker. Her monthly payment plan is one way that she gets income for people who come to her. What Reels Lab is one of her products. We have
Yeah,
our own monthly.
subscriptions.
Yep, we have our own monthly subscription, and that's a flow of income. And we've
Mhm.
talked about this on past episodes. I know that because we want you guys learning how to do multiple streams of income because
Yeah.
you've been conditioned to believe you only work the 40 hours to only get that one paycheck from the one stream of income you've been doing. This is not that. We're changing the way you bring in the income for your family because no one in the world is paying your bills but you. This is a way you can do that. And I love that we're, breaking that tension around all of this because it's such
Hmm.
an awkward thing. Everybody's very personal with their finances. Everybody's very
Right.
personal with how they bring in the income. I think that as an online creator, getting that first, this is your down, this is the amount you're getting. It's awkward and weird, but you've also put in the time for it. And
Hmm.
initially, I know when I got started learning how to create content, number one, learning to become an online seller, because that's what I was effectively doing. Was taught to be a little bit pushy because I'm selling something. And it
Hmm.
was, it's rude to talk to somebody else about, well, go and sell a car to buy this thing. And it's just, unfortunately, we had to relearn how to show up online, which is community first basis, right? You need to have the
Hmm.
trust with the people that you're trying to give your offer to, rather than just always selling. And I think we've gotten into a mentorship group ourselves recently that has helped us rewire how we come out, on top with our face first, friend first, rather than just always being the Avon lady or pushing, door to
Right.
door sales guy, card guy, right? We're done with that.
Right.
That generation is over. It's not that you're bad at selling, you're just having to relearn a lot of crap that we
Hmm.
all were ingrained in. So there's nothing wrong in relearning. Actually, take that as a point of, reward for yourself. You found something that didn't work. Now you're learning how to make it work. And this is what we're here
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. And so, how can we do it without pressure? And, selling for me, sometimes it feels gross when I'm forcing it, when I'm talking at people, not with people. That goes back to the community piece, like you said. And then the other thing is when you're so desperate for the outcome. And that's a huge thing because look in the
It
mirror,
bleeds
my
through.
friend. You look in the mirror, my friend, because I can tell you that that was me. I was desperate in the very beginning to make the money that I was seeing all the other people around me make. And it took me a lot to unlearn that and relearn and teach myself how to do it in a way that wasn't forced and wasn't icky, right?
Oh,
Um
yeah.
and that's when we started making money. And it wasn't a big pot of money, right? It wasn't huge. The first real income stream we had, like real income stream that was more than a few dollars a month, was our YouTube. And once that kind of started and I saw how it was really just being me, being naturally me and solving a real problem, sharing my struggles with people. And that's how you get people to trust you. That's you got to
Yep.
get the trust before you can sell the thing, right? I mean, it's changed a lot since COVID. So you've got to get the trust, you've got to build the community so that people will buy from you. And you don't need to push harder, you just need to connect with people better.
Yep. I
So
think
some
agree.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think one person that I was listening to that I didn't really understand, Alex Hormozy, just sell the thing that answers the problem that one person has,
Mhm.
and it'll blow up from there. So I think sometimes there are simple ideas that are shared by the people who have done the work, who have put in the
Mhm.
effort, and now they are where they are. Obviously, that there's more to the story rather than just find the problem and sell the answer.
Mhm.
You do have to learn about what your purpose is to those people and how you can connect to them. And when I was involved with a prior group, it was, always try to sell and then try to recruit and try to get someone
Mhm.
to come along under you. And that to me was just icky. I didn't like that at all. And it just
Yeah.
wasn't my demeanor. It wasn't who I was. And that's how selling for some people is. And
Yeah,
we
like a
really,
MLM. And there's
yeah,
nothing wrong with MLMs. I mean,
not
they're
at
not for
all.
me, not for
Not for me.
you. We've talked about that. There are some very successful people in business running through an MLM, and that's cool. That's fine. I've tried it. Wasn't for me either.
Same.
So Yeah, it wasn't for me either as far as like the more people you bring under you, the more money you make. I mean, when you're running your own business, you're kind of doing that, but in a different way because you're building that community of people coming under you because they trust you. You're not really gaining a new rep or whatever.
Yeah, no, you're just gaining the trust of someone, hopefully, that's going to come back to you. You know, if you have suggestions on what works now, what else is really good, then they'll possibly come back and keep buying from you.
Mhm.
I think there's a person that I was listening to. They're trying to sell products for their bike shop, and they're really struggling with connecting their content to the people that they're trying to reach. And for them, it's very frustrating for them. You can hear it in their voice, the panic that they
Yeah.
have. Well, my video isn't getting good reviews. It isn't getting out there. My content isn't connecting right. I'm not making sales. There aren't people walking in and I'm going to lose my shop. So what do I do? You know, that's a big, huge part of this part is the ultimate goal here for people who try to get their self out online, obviously, is to earn that income in the long run. Um, the biggest hurdle that I got to tell you guys to get over first is your goal, right? You
Hmm.
have to remember that that will come very last. You cannot be that person. You can't be that pushy person trying to get things out. You got to connect with those people. And that's why
Right.
we created our community, because that's where so many of us get in our own heads, overthink, we struggle. Something that you could try doing in your content is, you know, instead of buying this, you can offer, hey guys, this really helped me when I was struggling with. And then
Mm.
put in whatever it is your topic is.
Yeah,
This
solve the
comes across as
problem.
feeling, yeah, this comes across as feeling more doable for the people
Yeah.
watching. They can attain that goal a lot easier rather than just somebody always saying, oh my God, this is your answer. You need this right now. That's not true. It's not true for everybody. And that's what builds, right?
Absolutely.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And no, absolutely. And this is a great time for us to introduce our circle hack.
Love these.
And our circle hack is just a quick bite size of information that hopefully you can take with you and use today. And really, it's very simple. All you're going to do is go back to your last three posts where you were trying to maybe sell something, trying to get people in your community, trying to have a call to action, right? And
Hmm.
instead of pitching to a complete stranger on the internet, think about like you're texting a friend. Go to your last three and see how you can change the hook, how you can change the caption to where if you were just texting your best friend saying, instead of saying, here's the link to buy it, say, "Hey, have you been struggling with this like me? This is what I did and I created this that might be able to help you." Because you wouldn't say to your friend, "Hey, grab the link in my bio." Right? You'd
Yeah.
say you'd say, "Hey, I went through the same thing and this is what happened. This is how I'm trying to fix it and it might help you. Here you go." So it's just more personable. What's the right word there? Whatever. It's more of a one on one with a friend, and it feels less icky, less salesy.
Yeah, that's that authentic word. That's the definition of that authentic word. I think you're naturally doing it in conversation anyway. You're just
Yeah.
not paying attention to how you're doing it. So go back and think, you know, the times that you bought something that your family and friends have seen you using, or
Hmm.
they've mentioned it. They're like, "Oh, that's an awesome thing. Where did you get that?" You're already saying it. You're just
Right.
not paying attention to the script that you're saying because it's just natural. It's a response, and
Absolutely.
you're
Hey, I
comfortable in
love your
that.
shirt. Where'd you get it? Hey, your
Exactly.
hair looks great. Who did it?
That's it. Yeah.
Right.
And
And then you're just
those are the
talking to a
feels.
friend.
Yeah, those are the feels that come across in the content in video. And I understand this differentiation now because I was that pushy person in my content. I was trying to force something unnatural, and it could be seen in the content. That's why my views were down. That's why my engagement was zero. And it was very I always dwelled on me rather than what did I do that didn't connect to them? You know, where
Right.
did I misstep to the audience that I'm trying to reach? And this is where we try and help you understand all that stuff. I think your truth is you can have all of those perfect call to actions, all the perfect hooks, perfect funnel for getting people to come in and buy. But if you don't believe in what you're offering, we're seeing that. You guys have to
Amen.
remember that's the biggest thing right there. If
Yeah.
it looks unnatural coming from you, I'm not gonna get it.
Exactly. And we can tell. People can
Exactly. Yes.
tell. So, what do you think is more important, your confidence or your strategy? I mean, they're both super important, but it's definitely your confidence. People hide behind strategy because it feels safer. And guilty, guilty.
Guilty.
Right?
Yeah.
I hid behind a script, an outline, a strategy because I wasn't confident in what I was doing. And once I made that shift a couple of years ago, I mean, I can remember it clear as day. It's like a light bulb went off and everything was changed, right?
You lit
People
up.
don't,
I remember
yeah.
your excitement when you're like, "Oh my God, I feel happy making what I'm making now versus what I was repeating, regurgitating what I
Hmm.
was learning." So I'm like,
Right.
I remember that day. It
Yes.
was very
And
uplifting for me to see that because I'm like, "Yes, she got it finally." I think you hit your microphone. Oh no.
ever will. Like you could have, again, like you said, the perfect funnel, perfect CTA, perfect content plan, perfect hook. But people don't buy because those things were perfect. They buy because they trust you and they
Yeah.
trust in what you're telling them, right? They
Yeah.
trust your experience and you putting yourself out there.
Oh yeah. I remember there was my first sale that I had received from all the content that I was creating. It was one of the reels that I had learned to remake through learning how to connect with the person on the other side. And
Hmm.
it was that was my moment. I'm like, okay, so I was able to make this one sale. Now I know how to, perfect it. Not perfect it, I won't say that. Improve, constantly
Yeah.
being better than the last time. And that's where I know, again, we've talked about this a lot. We have stuff inside of our social circle that we go over how to analyze your content, going through the things. So, and that's where a lot of this isn't talked about behind the monetization. And this is a part of the work that you do to achieve that monetization. You do have to do your own data analysis. You do have to study your own content in order to find the mistakes that you can correct and move forward from and learn from, And again, for me, that was my moment. I'm like, okay, this kind of content I was making isn't working, but let
Yeah.
me try this kind of content, and boom, I got that sale right after. And I was so pumped. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And for me, it was the best like achievement. Validation is something that we talk about a ton. Like
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing and finally it worked for me. So it's just you got to detach yourself your detach the worth from the income.
Amen.
Go for it.
Gosh. And you said detaching your worth from your income. And that was why we came up with when we had our Mom Mondays before our group, before the podcast, before everything. And we used to meet like a group, four of us, three of us, however many of us girls could get on there. And that's why we started talking about small wins, not your follower amount, not your amount of money you made, because first of all, you've got to work up to those things. And second of all, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes you're going to have low sales. Sometimes you're going to spend a week creating a guide or whatever for people and it'll flop, right? Sometimes a lot of times you're going to watch other people win while you struggle. So you've got to detach your worth and everything that you're doing and everything that you're learning and all of that from the income because the income is not always going to come. Like we used to talk about, oh my gosh, the littlest things. Oh, I had X amount of views. Oh, I got this much engagement. Oh, I learned this last week and
Yeah.
teach it to the group, right? Because small wins got us through the lowest times in this business. It was before the pod, before the community, before all of that. And small wins is what helped us. And that's probably the best, like, again, if you don't listen to anything else in the pod, find yourself some small wins and don't attach your worth and your success to how much money you're making, especially in content creation and entrepreneurship. right?
Right.
There are other wins that you can find, I promise you, because you can do everything right
For
and it
sure.
might still be slow.
Definitely. I mean, I love our conversation with, was it Trevin?
Yeah.
Yep. I loved hearing how one, his parents helped encourage his failures in his business ideas.
Yeah.
His family was his support system, his accountability group that he would go and say, "Oh my God, this didn't work. So how can I?" And again, this is where it's different for a lot of people, where some people will stop. They won't try again.
Right.
Others will say, okay, this didn't work. How do I reframe it into something that will? And that's
Yep.
where he went from where he was. I can't remember, but I do know it started with humble beginnings to where he is
Hmm.
now with his own business, with his own product, and it's running
His
functionally
own
and it's bringing
software.
in software. Yeah, it's bringing in amazing. That monetization is worked out for him because he did not fail. He did not give in to all the talk, all the rhetoric.
Hey, hey,
It's hard to
and
do.
here, amen. And here's another thing. Jennifer and I watched people make millions,
Oh yeah.
millions
Goes the other
of
way too,
dollars
people.
and still feel insecure in what they were doing and
Yep.
still do the same things because I mean it was working for them, right?
They
But they're
found
not
they
even
hid
around
behind that
anymore.
strategy. Yeah.
They're not even around anymore 4 years
Yep.
later. And I remember having imposter syndrome and wishing I was them because they made millions of dollars. They're not making millions of dollars anymore.
Nope. Nope.
So,
And that's why it's important to know the foundations, right? You cannot build a home without having the foundations done first and done
yep.
right. And it's all relatable to that kind of thinking is you have to have the basis planned out and you've got to be able to have the structure there so that you can have the confidence to just complete the project all the way to the end and see it through. It's difficult as all get out to get through that journey through all of that, but there is the bright side of it, and that is
Yeah.
that monetization will come through eventually, but you do have to stick through. You do have to
You have
keep
to stick
trying.
through. Yeah, and
Yes.
you have to find because we are a lot different than we were 4 years ago, right? So if somebody is starting out right now, I guarantee your offer, your strategy is going to change 15 different times.
And you're allowed to. This is your
And you're
official permission
allowed.
to allow
Exactly.
yourself to change.
Yes, exactly. And so let's talk about what helps you get through the awkwardness, right? Super simple shifts and it starts with your mindset, which
Yep.
is which is why that is the first thing we talk about when you come into the social circle VIP is your mindset because we realized after doing this for so many years that that was the first thing people struggled with. We've seen it. We've talked to people.
So
We've
many
talked
people.
to them. You've got to focus on your mindset, and your
Yep.
mindset helps you shift, retrain your brain, right? You want to talk to people like a human. Talk to them like a human, not a marketer, not an influencer or whatever. Talk to people like a human. Tell them your experience. Tell them what you did, how you fixed it, and how you think it can help them. Not about just sharing a link. Oh, you should get this. That's what it was back in the day. That's how those people made millions, right? And I'm not mad at that. But it's just a different world now. It's a different time in social media. And the big things that Jennifer and I still are working on is stop apologizing for your offer.
All the
Stop
time.
apologizing because you think you're annoying someone because you have a community that can help them, or because you have a podcast that they should listen to and it could help them, right? Stop apologizing for that. That's work that you put in. Say it loud and proud from the top of a mountain and repeat it. Repeat it constantly. Again,
Yes.
something I'm still working on, right? Repeat it constantly every day if you have to. The most successful people that sell their offers repeat it constantly
Hmm.
more than it feels comfortable. I feel like,
And they
like,
repeat it constantly because they tested that theory and that idea, and it has changed. It has morphed. It has turned from what the original looked like to what people know that person for today. So
yep.
don't ever discount that. You have to keep trying, and
Hmm.
you're not annoying, guys. You are
Hmm.
just finally getting seen, and that's the goal. So you have to remember yourself that it is so important to again, have the accountability, have the motivation, stick with all the ideas, keep trying, keep coming back. That money does come in the end. That is your reward for everything
Mhm.
hard that you've been going through. And for this, if everything you heard today hit home, right? We touched on that topic that it clicks for you now. I want to hear about it. Follow us on our social media, on our Instagram, Social Circle VIP. And then Candace is at Just the Blended Wells. I am on Instagram at Jen_Radilak. Drop us a line, message us in one of our communities. If you want to get into our school program or social circle on school platform, message us, one of us directly or on our social circle feed, even in the podcast where we are everywhere, guys, with our podcast. Candace, where can they
Amen.
listen for
Oh
us?
gosh, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts,
Everywhere.
Amazon Podcasts, yeah, Spotify, anywhere you get your pods. But comment school and we'll hook you up with our community. It's free for you to get in right now. And you can check it out because you just need to get more comfortable being seen so you can get paid. That's it. Just need to be more comfortable with yourself and with talking about your experiences. And that's where the money comes in.
For sure. You don't need to be somebody else to make money online, guys. You just got to be
Mhm.
you, and the money comes after. It's the
Yeah.
reward for all the hard work of showing us your beautiful vision, your beautiful you.
Amen. And you know what? This is our 41st episode, everybody.
41st. And I turned
41st.
41 this year.
Oh
Look at
my
that.
God. I turned 45,
Oh my
whatever.
God.
40s are the new 20.
What
So
I've
if you're in your
learned.
40s, go ahead and hit that follow button. We're Rudy's team over.
There we go. Thank you so much, everybody, for having a great week. Great
Have
week.
a great week.